Oh, it's great to be home.
Well, what's the visit been all about this time?
Well, I'm coming down. Right now we're getting ready I'm supporting a STEM, a science, technology, engineering, and mathematics program, which will be held on May 20th in Edinburgh. And I'm excited to come down and support this. We're expecting over 5,000 young people to come and be part of this from both sides of the border, even including from Mexico, and to have the opportunity. And I'll be one of the speakers at this event, but promoting these STEM fields and stuff as a possibility for further study and for careers. And the truth is, that only about 2% of Hispanic folks get attracted to and get involved in these fields, and I think part of the reason is they just don't understand what they're about, or they don't know anybody that did that. Nobody in their family has done any of these things before, and so they can't envision themselves doing it. And so I think more exposure to these things just help encourage young people to think about it. And there's all kinds of opportunities. The world is becoming more technical, so this knowledge of technology, comfort with technology, is important for them in their future. And part of it would be possibly through education, university degrees, and becoming the engineers and the scientists and stuff. But part of it might even be people that are working more the vocational thing, the trades, but they're much more technical now too. And in the trades, there's 500,000 jobs in manufacturing right now that are unfilled, and they can't get young people that are willing to roll up their sleeves and do those kind of things. The young people in the Valley, this is a very exciting event that's being held to bring them in, and it's understand. And my job is to help get them excited about it. I really want to thank the Rio Grande Valley Philanthropic Foundation for supporting this event. This has been a passion project for them for a number of years, and it started out with just with the young ladies. And this is the first year they're really opening it up and saying, all of these young people across the valley and on both sides of the river need to know these things, need to have this understanding. And so this is an audacious leap forward for the foundation. Building it this big, we're expecting over 5,000 young people. This is huge, the opportunity to impact that. That's why I'm here. I'm not being paid to be here. I'm here because I believe in this. I believe in the power of education to open up young people's lives and opportunities. First generation college students, that just warms my heart so much too, because when they go to college, and it changes the entire trajectory for a family, but also for the students, and the graduates that might be going into things and doing more vocational things that are related to these STEM fields too. These are still very, very necessary jobs. They're essential for our economy. And they've got great career opportunities too for the people that don't see college and university stuff, in their future. But you've got to not be afraid, and you've got to see it and be excited about it, and then wonder, and then be willing to learn more, and then grow and just see where these things can take you.
When Diane explained to me the purpose of the STEM Nation event this year, and she ran through the numbers that you just quoted about what a small percentage of the Hispanic population goes into the STEM fields for their career, I was just astonished. It was such a small amount. And obviously this is the place to recruit. And it's so important for this community.
Absolutely, it's important for the community. And so as now a vice president of Texas A&M University, so I retired from NASA 8 years ago, and I took on a new mission. I lived my dream. This is the short version of my story. I lived the dream I had as an 11-year-old here in McAllen, watching Apollo 11 land on the moon, looking at the moon hanging over my backyard, shaking with excitement. And it hit me, I want to do that someday. And people laughed, they ridiculed, they laughed in my face. Nope, who do you think you are? Nobody from down here does that kind of stuff. I literally heard that. They're stealing my dream, right? Just crushing it, burying it. And fortunately, there were people along the way, and you know, a lot of my teachers saw that spark in me. I don't think they ever thought I'd fly in space, but they saw that spark, especially the hunger to learn science. And it was my senior year in high school. Ruperto Gonzalez was my high school science teacher, physics teacher at McAllen High School, Mac High, and he saw that spark in me. And I had no idea what engineering was. He's the one that said. I was talking to him I was hanging with him in his classroom after school one day talking about things, and he was asking me about careers and have I thought about college and stuff. And I was all over the place with my ideas. And he looked at me and says, "Look, Mike, okay, I've heard you. Listen, right, you love science. You're really good at science." "Yeah, I love science." He says, "You're good at math even if you don't love it." But that's actually quite accurate. He says, "And you like solving problems. Mike, you're an engineer, you just don't know it yet." So what's an engineer? I had no idea. And he made sure I found out. And he said, "You're going to be an engineer, and you're going to be an Aggie engineer." And my life changed. That was one of those angels along the way, right? That spoke to me at the right time, saw something I had no idea about, and it allowed me to progress. And it was like that. It was a long journey to get to the astronaut office. I applied for 13 years. You know, and with a sense of mission. I loved what I was doing in the Air Force. I did flight tests in the Air Force, and I left and came to NASA, and I, you know, helped design the space station. And so I had fingerprints all over it in that way. And finally, at age 40, I got selected as an astronaut. And I just, you know, I applied 7 times. I interviewed 5 times before I was finally selected. The key is not giving up. Lots of people can tell you no. They can laugh, say, "Who do you think you are? This is impossible." Okay, well, let's just keep leaning forward and take it one step at a time. You know, you apply, you interview, you get rejected. It's horrible. It's gut wrenching. But you know, I would give myself a day to mourn, and the next day it's back to work. And I loved what I was doing in the Air Force. I loved what I was doing at NASA. So I wasn't waiting a day out of those 13 years. I was working, doing stuff I loved, helping support first the Air Force and then the space program. Working in mission control, working in you know, helping design the space station. I loved what I was doing. So, and that's the key. You got to love what you're doing, and you got to when you face the rejection, it's like get up. You're not beaten until you don't get up, right? And no doesn't mean never. No means not yet. It's your job to get up and keep working. Find a way over, around, through. Some way to get through that obstacle that's there. And you've got to believe that you can do, and I believe, you know, these young people can do amazing things if they believe and get a support network around them that helps lift them up, that help encourage them, help feed those crazy dreams, right? And you know, but keep it real. What's the next step? You know, what are you going to do? So you don't make the jump from, you know, middle school to NASA astronaut. There's things along the way. What are the possible things? And there's lots of paths for that one.
I love that one.
And so there, you know, there's lots of different paths that could lead to astronaut. But that's not all there is in the world. And I mean, space program was a huge attractant to me growing up in the Rio Grande Valley, with the space program all taking place in Florida. And now we've got the space program right here outside of Brownsville at Boca Chica, South Texas, is launching rockets into space. This is amazing to me. When I graduated from high school 50 years ago, there were no engineering programs in Rio Grande Valley. You know, I didn't have an option if I'm going to study engineering, and now we do. And that's exciting, and those programs are growing and they're needed because the whole manufacturing sector that we have down here needs those kind of STEM degrees too. It opens up opportunities. Those opportunities were very, very minimal. And it's been a long journey for me. The first job that I ever had was on an orange picking crew, right here. You know, with all my coworkers when we spoke Spanish. Mine was pretty bad, but you know, you learn. And you'd load a bushel basket of oranges, literally, carry it to the truck. And they would dump the oranges in the truck and give you a washer. Give me a washer. Put a washer in my pocket, go do it again. And again, and again. At the end of the day, each washer was worth $0.25. You know, it was hard work, back-breaking work. I worked construction here. I worked as a janitor, you know, at a church. As a younger boy, I guess I got paid to mow lawns too before I was picking oranges, because literally dragging a lawnmower around the neighborhood. And we were not a wealthy family. And if I wanted spending money, I had to go earn it. But that taught me the value of hard work, and actually, working with people in a steel mill. I worked in a steel mill, working with construction crews, steel workers, orange pickers, et cetera. You learn the value of hard work and really to respect the people that are doing that hard work. At the same time, even when I got up to college and I was doing things like the steel mill, I said, I want to go back to school.
So my last question for you, that your role now in life in terms of giving back,
right,
and giving the young people of today, the young students of today, encouraging them to pursue the same path, the path that they love, that it worked for you, the hard work, the dedication worked for you, it can happen for them as well.
No, absolutely. And I never thought I would leave NASA. I really didn't. 9 years ago, I was still an active astronaut. I was training to fly again, and I would fly again. Still passing the flight physicals, etc. But I heard about an opportunity to work for Texas A&M University as a vice president of Texas A&M University, running a special purpose branch campus that's located in Galveston. And I said, well, that would be an outrageous third career. I've done Air Force and NASA, but it was way out of my experience base. But I had to go check this out, because I love Texas A&M. I graduated there. I met my wife there. 2 of our 4 children went there. Done a lot of events up there. But I had not visited the Galveston campus, so I made multiple trips wearing camouflage, Aggie t-shirt and blue jeans. I didn't tell anybody who I was or why I was there. I just came and I walked around, and I found Texas A&M in a smaller package. And I found the same traditions, the same values, the same Tier 1 academic institution, but with less than 2,500 students, it really had a family kind of atmosphere. And it is 100% part of Texas A&M University, the same diploma, the same Aggie ring that we're very proud of, et cetera. And so I threw my name in a hat and said, and I wasn't prepared for it. I didn't meet the qualifications that they had published for the job, but the more I learned, the more excited I got, and I just absolutely love it. And the reason is my whole life I've been a volunteer in the scouting program. I mean, scouting in the Valley saved my life, and I can say that without joking at all. And so I've been a volunteer since I turned 18, in some different way, and that was actually part of my interview with the president of A&M. Why do you even want to do this job? And I told him, as a scoutmaster, I get him as a 5th grader and I sent him off to college. Now I think this is the natural extension of that lifelong passion. So I really love working with young people. And at the university, it's so huge. They're getting that first freedom as they're leaving home. They've got ideas for careers, and believing in them. And that's I'm really strong on this message that I say to all visiting students and new student conferences. I believe in the power of a positive program to change young people's lives. And that is the team that we're growing here at the Galveston campus. I will say that the main campus is also, it's already there too. It's a lot bigger. It's not the best fit for a lot of people. I understand that. There are a lot more programs on the main campus. And now, in the Valley, we now have the Higher Education Center in McAllen. That is, just like us in Galveston, that is Texas A&M University. And they have a small number of degrees right now, but it's a great place to go. It's a great place to finish. Or it's a great place to start, and then you might move between campuses. You might come up to Galveston and be part of the Texas A&M Maritime Academy, training to be a future ship captain or ship's engineer, starting well into the 6 figures. I'd love to talk to people about that too. Or you may find yourself up in College Station, studying aerospace engineering or botany or any of the other degrees that we have. But the key is, what are you interested in? What are you interested in? What excites you? what are the career possibilities? That should be part of this thinking too. If you're excited about video games, well then go try to find out how do you make money playing video games. You're going to find it's a pretty small percentage of people that make a living doing that. So let's find something where that can be the building blocks of a career. We all change direction. I changed majors. I didn't stay in the same degree I started with. I started in mechanical engineering, the master's in systems engineering, the degree in flight test engineering, and later I became a scientist as I studied space science, planetary geology, and cool stuff like that. So, but that was my journey, right? They've got to find theirs. What are they excited about? And I've seen students' who dropped out of college because they didn't know why they were there. They took a break, they thought about it, maybe they prayed about it, and talked to people about different things, came back in nuclear engineering and went from a dropout to a dean's list in undergraduate, full scholarship for graduate school, and now dream job working at Idaho National Labs. And I know him personally because he's my son, right? And he found what really excited him. That's his, it wasn't mine, it's his. That unleashed the power, the energy, the drive to not give up. I'm going to figure this out. This is hard stuff. Yeah, it is, but it's also cool stuff. And a lot of the STEM, a lot of people are afraid of it because, it's hard. You get it, you'll learn it. We're here to help you, right? At the schools, we want you to succeed. We want nothing more than for you to succeed. And the work world out there is waiting for you. They need these people. They really do. Are you going to work harder for these STEM degrees than you would some other degrees? Most people, I was one of them, I had to work really hard. I was not a top student, but I refused to give up. And I got a little better each step along the way. That's the key to success. You don't accept no. And when you fall down, you get up and you keep leaning forward. And the other thing I'll say about life, and I'm going to tell my graduating students this on Friday. I know a lot of them got through their education, by cramming. They managed to pass the class because they crammed everything in to the get ready for their finals and stuff. But real life, you can't cram. You're going to be tested, not over the textbook stuff. Your honor is going to be tested. Your integrity is going to be tested. Your values, your honesty are going to be tested, and you don't have time to cram then. You've got to know the answer when you're faced with those test questions, right? And that's what the world's looking for too, the people that have the values, the character values, and the people that are prepared to help lead. Everybody is looking for the future leaders, right? When they're hiring somebody, they're looking for future leaders in whatever job it is. I don't care what it is. They're not looking just for what you can do, in the first year. They're really looking at 5 years, 10 years. Could this person take my place someday? That kind of thing is what they're looking for. And they're looking for people that are willing to, show up early, stay late, work hard, and have that intensity to get the job done. So you got to find your mission, whatever it is, because that mission is what lights those fires, that makes you want to stay and work. And I've had a mission, since I graduated from college. First it was in the Air Force and it was defined for me. And then I revised it, changed it, found a better focus, and moved on to the next mission. And that is what's driven me, and it's allowed me to do amazing things. Again, I wasn't a top student in school here in McAllen. I wasn't a top student at A&M, but I got a little stronger each point along the way. And I saw why I was there, and I saw where I could make a difference. And that's why I love working for Texas A&M University, because I get to work with these young people all the time. And I will be with my Maritime Academy cadets training at sea this summer. They'll be out for 2.5 months. They're loading onto the ship as we speak right now to be at sea for 2.5 months. And I need to experience it with them. I've got overalls that are greasy and torn because I get in there and work with them. To me, that's one of the best parts of the year. I still like to do the hands-on thing. So there's still a little bit of that janitor in me. or the steel worker in me, or the bicycle repair shop guy in me that likes to get in there and actually help fix. Sir, you don't have to do this. Oh, I know, but you can't stop me because you all work for me.
Well, Mike, thank you so much. We've learned a lot in just a short interview. I appreciate your time. Looking forward to seeing you at STEM Nation.
It's going to be great. This is so exciting. No, this is going to be so exciting, and I'm excited for the way that the potential this has. Not the potential. I am excited for what this is going to do to energize the young people down here. And I hope we have a lot of parents and stuff that are coming too. What is this stuff? I don't know anything about this. Well, let's learn about it, and let's learn how you can support your child that are thinking, that are questioning, and together we're going to do great things, and we're going to open up an incredible universe of opportunities, for these young people through this event. Thanks.
Thank you so much.